cutting across now to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, tell us more about the safety of journalists. I mean, of course, that would be my question here, because two of our journalists from India Today, Gaurav Sawant and Ashutosh, are on their way. They're going to be on ground. How safe is it at this point for civilians to be walking around, for reporters to be doing their job?
Right now, because of the tensions being very high, if you go in groups, there's no issues for tourists because it looks obvious that they're tourists. But for journalists or even a random person such as me who's holding a camera, every 2 to 3 minutes, I've been interrogated. My credentials have been taken, and it's been scrutinized to see whether I am legit, I am actually a threat or not. So, but there's no physical harm as such, but they're just being overly cautious and checking to see if people are being legit or not. That's the only thing. There's no hurt or hassle to any of us here.
You know, at this point, Netanyahu, the Israeli chief, has said very clearly that they will avenge this attack by Hamas and will ensure that all the capabilities of the Hamas terrorists will be broken in the matter of a few days. Do you believe that Israel is right now targeting Hamas where it hurts? How far has Israel gone to counter the attack?
I think it's going to be more days than anticipated for sure, because of the insurgence of the terrorists into Israel soil. But with respect to Hamas having being on a back foot, I think Israel has done a tremendous job in striking the strongholds of Hamas in Gaza, and specific Hamas-related buildings and headquarters in Gaza has been hit. So yes, they are dealing a really strong blow. And I have also heard reports that the Israeli government has also told the Gazans who are not involved to leave Gaza area and go to other countries because there's going to be a land infiltration or a land attack from Israel in the coming few days.
All right. So civilians have been warned not to step out of their homes and to flee those areas that are tense. Lidar, the way we saw the Hamas terrorists infiltrate into borders along southern Israel was shocking. Of course, we were taken aback with many of them being abducted, young innocent girls who were being taken into their vehicles and moved to camps. Any way that they could be brought back? Any word that you've heard from them, if my audio is clear to you now?
Are you talking to me?
Lidar. Lidar, can you hear me? All right, we seem to have a problem with our connection there. I'm trying to patch that. Emmanuel, if you could take that question, a lot of them who've been held hostage by the Hamas terrorists, would we know of their safety? Is there any communication between the terrorists with the Israeli government? They're being held hostage, but on what demands?
No communication and no demand has been made to the Israeli government with respect to the hostages. But the recent reports have said that these people are actually kept hostage in the tunnels inside Gaza in a safe location, and they have said that they have kept them safe and without any harm. And it's probably believable because they're looking at furthering negotiation talks in exchange for high officials of Hamas that have been arrested by Israel in the recent years.
Right. It was a day, an auspicious day for the Jews when the attacks came in by the Hamas terrorists. They were caught off guard, and the numbers of casualties are only rising. Do we know of the areas where the Hamas terrorists infiltrated? What was happening at that point? Were there festivities being celebrated on the streets? We know civilian establishments were attacked, but how many people were really right out on the streets celebrating their holy festival?
Right. So this is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's supposed to be a Shabbat. So nobody goes out on the streets. The Shabbat observers or the religious Jews don't go out on the streets. They don't even use their electronic instruments on that day. So from the evening on Friday till the evening of Saturday, None of these Orthodox or religious Jews were even aware that there was an infiltration, except for the sirens that were heard. They thought it was just another bombing attack by, missile attack by Hamas. They did not know the extent of the situation. But with respect to the other non-religious Jews, they took this time, because it's a family time and it's a holiday time. They took this time to go for parties, and there was a major party happening down in the south of Israel, near the Gaza border, in a settlement called as Be'eri, which was the first place of the attack, where they could see these paratroopers of Hamas special forces that were coming up from the sky, and they were running for their lives at 5:30 in the morning. And this was what had happened. I could also say that this was also marking the 50 years and 1 day of the Yom Kippur War. So these were tough times, and the Yom Kippur War was won by Israel. So this was also to take to mar that image as well, is why Hamas had maybe chosen this day to make that infiltration happen.
Right. Emmanuel, thank you very much. I hope you stay safe as well. We know that civilians now on the streets are under threat, as the Hamas terrorists are still lurking around the areas of Israel's southern borders.